Hey yo, what is going on guys, Cash and Clean here, and for today's video I just wanted to talk about all the ways you guys can make flux and the best flux making strategies for you guys. And before I actually get started with this, I did make a video yesterday about Pokemon Emerald Kaizo. If you haven't heard about this or haven't played the game, or if you just don't play Pokemon, I highly recommend checking it out. It's actually pretty good. It was my first time making a video something like that. It's a very challenging game, and if you want to have something just in the background while you play a game, or just want to check out this epic challenge, you can check out that video. It's my last one. I'll link it in the description. But anyway, let's get on with this video. So I've been getting asked a lot of like what the best ways of getting flux is, how to make flux, if you're brand new to the game, how do you make flux, stuff like that. So I'm going to go through some of the, the basic methods, some of the advanced methods. I'll kind of go back and forth. You guys can pick which one you want to do, or you can just do none of them if you really want to, because I'm sure some of you guys already have a flux making strategy. So I'll just go through the list and you can see which ones you like. Now the first ones that I want to talk about are your dailies, and when I say dailies, I mean your Mondays, your Tuesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So for Mondays you can get extra crystals and shadow shards, and if you have no idea how to shadow shard farm, I do have a video on this, so you can check that out if you really want to. So pretty much you need a challenge portal that opens up the Neon Underground biome, and you just go on your Neon Ninja, backflip through those little blocks, and it reveals a crystal. The crystal gives you obviously crystals and shadow shards. You can do it with a group. You can also just vacuum the crystals, you get a bunch of them. And if you don't fight the boss at all, you can just keep your portal, and you can just repeat this over and over with all the challenge portals that you have. Just know that each week the challenge portals will reset, and the Neon Underground biome will be somewhere else instead of whatever depth it is at this week. Also, while you're farming your weeklies, every third floor you get a shadowy vault, and you can get some shadow caches from those. You can end up selling those shadow caches. They actually sell for a little bit more, so that's another option you can go for, but that's up to you. I'm going to stick back to the dailies real quick here. So Tuesdays are gathering day. So I've seen a bunch of people make a lot of flux from Nitro. You can also get a bunch from the Radiant Shards. All you have to do is go to the Radiant Ruins and just fight a bunch of those Sky Giants. And obviously if you have alts, this makes this process a lot easier. So Nitro, Radiant Shards, there's a whole bunch of things you can do on Tuesday. Just find whatever ore, and then obviously you can sell them. Just know that on Tuesdays, the prices of whatever ore you're going for is going to go down. So just watch out for that in the marketplace. Just see whichever days the prices of that go back up, and then you can sell it on that day. Friday is Dragon Day. You might be wondering how you make flux on a Dragon Day. You can actually sell the dragon fragments. Some of them actually go for a decent amount, like the pirate one for example, or the Candoria ones. Those go for 2,000 or might be 1,500, but I know the water dragon also works like that too. I haven't done this in forever, but I think it's all 5 equal to 2,000, the 5 that you get. Obviously patron kind of varies how many you get as well. It's not a super great method, but if you have a nice group with you, you can definitely do this. Or if you just randomly find this dragon, then you can definitely go for it on a Friday, get some fragments for yourself and loot collect those. If you have the dragon, obviously. You might want to keep the fragments if you don't have the dragon. So there's Saturday. I will talk about this later on, so stay tuned for that. And then Sunday, which is loot day. Obviously, if you have the magic find, you can loot collect your stellars, radiance, and shadow gear. And as you're farming, you can just loot them, get some flux, and continue farming. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about are events and luxion. So during the events, watch for the prices of certain items, because like especially new items, when they first come out, it's going to be cheap. It's going to be maybe a little bit too expensive. The prices will go all over the place. Then once the event's completely over, the prices of those will go back up. And one thing I want to mention is if you see something like the radical rainbow wings, those things in Trove of Wonders, if you see that in Luxion, don't buy it because it's a waste, and you don't want to be spending flux or dragon coins on that. It's super cheap as well, so just watch out for stuff like that on the market or for events. But I'm sure you guys can pick out which ones are good, which ones are bad. And while we're on the topic, I want to get into the market stuff. You'll hear a lot of people talking about market flipping, but some people just don't know what item to flip. I personally say to study an item for a week and see how they go up and down in prices. Events also make certain items go up in price. Like if there's a certain item that you have to donate for whatever reason, or a certain gardening item that you're going to need to get through some of your event quests, that's one way to look at market flipping. The other way, which is a little bit more easier to follow and probably a good starting point for some of you, is working on those dailies that we talked about earlier. So Tuesdays are gathering day, and I already mentioned this a little bit, but more people will get ore on that day. So you can imagine the prices will go down because a lot of people are going to be listing stuff. stuff on the Tuesday, and then later on in the week the prices for that will go back up. Just watch out for events that might make the prices of that go up and down, but pretty much all you want to do is just study those items and see what works best for you. So on PC, Gleam used to be 2 to 6 flux each, and I used to sell those back in the day, but I actually collected a bunch of those, and now they're 12 flux each, so you can see that I made a pretty good profit from that. It did take like about a year, I'm pretty sure, for it to go from the price that it was to now. So even after a year, you guys can kind of see that prices can go up like that, or they might just drop down a lot, kind of just depends. But I can't really prove to you guys that the gleamstone was 2 to 6 flux each and that I actually made the profit, but just take my word for it, it was. I made some pretty decent flux from that back in the day. But long story short, just find an item that maybe not many people are selling, or items that are priced at a weird range. An item that comes to mind is primal Paragon pinatas, but we'll get into that next here on the list. But this was just an example that I randomly picked out. If you want to take on the risk of market flipping, then it's up to you, because you can either win big or lose big. Stuff like luxion or events can also ruin these prices, but honestly you'll just never know. So it's kind of optional if you want to do this market flipping thing, but if it works for you, then you should go for it. If you don't want to do it, then you don't have to. Now, primal Paragon pinatas. You might be wondering how you can actually profit off of these. Well, let me explain that to you. We're gonna need levels here, and you can check out my level up guide from my last video. It was actually 2 videos ago. My last one was the Pokemon one. And you have to get your characters to prime levels. So once you pass level 30, you can go to level 2, level 3, level 5, level 7. These are prime numbers. If you're just starting out on a brand new character and hit level 2, 3, 5, 7, it won't mean anything. You have to go after level 30. Hopefully that makes sense. These are the Paragon levels, and there are fast ways of getting XP that you can do. Your Saturdays, like I mentioned earlier from your dailies, can help a little bit with that. Actually, not just a little, quite a bit from that. And in my level up guide, I did mention to do your adventure quests that you find in whatever Uber you're in. I forgot to mention that you should do those, you should accept them, but do those in the higher Ubers, so then you can get the most out of your XP. I did pin a comment that talked about that as well, so hopefully you can find that, and hopefully you start doing that. And apart from that, you also got your Geode quests. You can do 5 of those a day. And for Paragon levels, doing delves 115 plus is also good for getting XP. If you do have a pretty good group, you can also do some 5-star farming. That could be pretty good, but having a group in general will get things done a lot faster, which means more XP in the long run. Now, you might be wondering how these pinatas and levels will get you flux. Well, every prime number gives you a minimum of 2 primal Paragon pinatas, or you can get really lucky and get more. I've seen someone get 50 from these from a prime level, but it's super rare. I've also seen someone get the primal Paragon wings from these, which sell for like, I don't know, I think they're like over 100 mil now, but that's like extremely rare. Like your odds of getting that is very low, but it is possible. I've seen someone get it in my stream before. It was one of my friends. Anyway, let's get back on track here. You can take those pins that you get from those levels, every prime number, so like I said, 2, 3, 5, 7, and you can sell that for flux. And the more levels you get, the more flux you get. You also get primal loops, which you can end up crafting a ring box for whatever character, and then you can just sell that box. So selling those boxes and also selling those pinatas will get you a pretty good amount of flux, I would say. When this update first came out that introduced the prime levels and all that stuff, this was a super good way to make flux, and it still is, so you can definitely use this method here. Moving on, another thing I kind of mentioned was the magic find farming. I talked about this in the daily section, but once you start getting 6k or more magic find, you'll start getting stellars consistently, radiant, shadow gear. Just loot those and you can continue farming dungeons. It's nice to do this passively as you farm gem boxes, because I'm sure you guys are working on your power rank, so it's always nice to focus on one thing while accomplishing other things at the same time. Next, we have another one here. This one's a little bit out there, but if you're really desperate for flux, you can offer some kind of service. Like, you can find someone who needs builders and build for them. I wouldn't take this too extreme, but I'm sure you can find something reasonable, like getting to a specific depth in challenge portals that people might need, and you can make some kind of deal with them and let them use your portal. You can get your challenge portal to a specific depth, like one depth before Ifera or Daughter of the Moon, just because the other person can use their alt and keep that portal. So like if they go up one level, then that one will be Ifera, for example. Hopefully that makes sense, but I think you guys get the point. And then you pretty much just sell them that portal, so then they can use their alts for whatever they need to, and then maybe you can find other people to sell this off to. But you can ask people in trade chat for this, but don't be annoying with this stuff, and please don't scam and don't get scammed. I don't want to be held responsible for anything that happens, and if someone seems sketchy, then just don't trade with them. Or if someone just asks for like a ridiculous price for something, then just don't do it. I've personally wanted to buy stuff in the past, but I've just turned them down because the trade seems sketchy. So just use your judgment and just don't get scammed, and don't scam, please. Moving on, fishing could be another way to make some flux. This probably won't get you as much due to fish spotters, but finding rare fish, selling those, and selling your glim, you get the point. I'm not going to get too in depth into this one. And then lastly, if there's a certain item in the game that's rare to farm for, no, I don't mean Gonda, but like if there's a mastery item that not many people are finding, or something that's super rare and just not on the market, you can easily farm for it and sell it. The tease up ally is something that comes to mind. You get these from 5-star waves. I can't remember which exact boss, but they might all just drop it. I'm not 100% sure on that, but you guys get the point. There's also a mount that drops from these, but they're just super rare. But if you farm 5-star waves, there's a chance you can get the ally or the mount or whatever, and you can sell that for a lot, and I mean a lot of flux. I think the tease up ally that I talked about specifically was around 30 mil flux, maybe even 40. The mount I'm pretty sure is going for over 100 mil. This is all PC by the way, but all these prices could change depending on when you watch this video. But anyway, those are the main ones that I wanted to cover. Hopefully by the end of this you guys have an idea of at least one thing that you could at least do, hopefully. Or maybe you just don't want to do any of these, it's up to you. Maybe you guys already have your own way of making flux, and if you want to share it, you can drop it down in the comments down below, but you don't have to, that's alright as well. But anyway, hopefully you guys have enjoyed. Drop a like, subscribe if you're brand new to the channel, and if you haven't already, check out my Pokemon video. I didn't spend like a whole lot of time editing it because I just wanted to put that out there. It seemed kind of cool at the time. But anyway, hopefully you guys have enjoyed, and I will see you all later.